Have you ever cracked your knuckles and heard someone say, "Stop doing that, you'll get arthritis"? What if that common warning isn't actually true? Millions of people crack their fingers, neck, back, knees, and other joints every day. Some people love the feeling. Others worry they might be damaging their bodies without realizing it. So what's really happening inside your joints when they make that popping sound? Is joint cracking harmless, or could it be a sign of a problem? Stay with us, because today we're separating fact from fiction and revealing what science actually says about joint cracking. What is joint cracking? First, let's understand what joint cracking actually is. A joint is the place where two bones meet. Your knees, fingers, shoulders, hips, and elbows are all joints. Inside many joints is a fluid called synovial fluid. Think of it as the body's natural lubricant. It helps joints move smoothly and reduces friction. When you stretch or pull a joint, the pressure inside that fluid changes. Tiny gas bubbles form and collapse, creating the familiar popping or cracking sound. That sound can be surprisingly loud, but in most cases, it isn't bones grinding against each other. It's mainly a pressure change occurring inside the joint. This is why after cracking your knuckles, you usually can't immediately crack them again. The gases need time to build back up before another pop can occur. Pretty interesting, right? The biggest myth about joint cracking. Now let's talk about one of the most common health myths in the world. Many people believe cracking your knuckles causes arthritis. But decades of research have found no strong evidence that occasional knuckle cracking leads to arthritis. One famous example involved a physician who cracked the knuckles of only one hand for more than 50 years while leaving the other hand untouched. When he compared both hands, there was no meaningful difference in arthritis development. Multiple scientific studies have reached similar conclusions. So if you occasionally crack your fingers, you probably don't need to panic about developing arthritis simply because of that habit. However, that doesn't mean all joint cracking should be ignored. The key is understanding the difference between harmless cracking and warning signs that deserve attention. When joint cracking is usually normal. In many situations, joint cracking is completely normal. For example, cracking your knuckles after waking up, hearing your knees pop when standing, feeling a click in your shoulder during movement, experiencing a gentle pop in your back when stretching. If the sound happens without pain, swelling, stiffness, or loss of movement, it's often considered a normal body function. Many healthy people experience joint sounds throughout their lives. Athletes, office workers, young adults, and older adults can all hear occasional popping noises from their joints. The human body is not silent. Just as your stomach can growl and your lungs can make sounds when breathing, your joints can sometimes create harmless noises too. When joint cracking could signal a problem. Now let's discuss the situations where joint cracking deserves more attention. The sound itself isn't usually the problem. The symptoms that come with it are what matter. You should pay closer attention if joint cracking is accompanied by pain, swelling, redness, warmth around the joint, reduced movement, weakness, locking or catching sensations. For example, imagine your knee makes a popping sound every time you walk upstairs, and each pop causes pain. That is different from a painless crack that happens occasionally. Painful joint noises may sometimes be related to cartilage wear, ligament injuries, tendon problems, joint inflammation, previous injuries, certain forms of arthritis. In these cases, it may be wise to consult a healthcare professional for evaluation. Remember this simple rule: painless popping is often normal. Painful popping deserves attention. Why the neck and back are different. Many people intentionally crack their necks or backs because it feels relieving, and for some individuals, it can temporarily reduce tension or stiffness. However, the neck is a more sensitive area than the fingers. Repeated forceful neck manipulation can place stress on muscles, ligaments, and blood vessels. Most occasional self-stretching isn't dangerous for healthy individuals, but aggressively twisting the neck multiple times a day isn't a good habit. Instead of constantly forcing your neck to crack, it may be better to address the underlying causes of tension, such as poor posture, long hours at a computer, stress, muscle tightness, lack of movement. Improving these factors can often reduce the urge to crack the neck repeatedly. Why does cracking feel so good? Have you ever wondered why joint cracking feels satisfying? Researchers believe several factors may contribute. First, stretching a joint activates nerve endings that may create a sense of relief. Second, movement can reduce feelings of stiffness. Third, there may be a psychological reward associated with the release sensation. Think of it like scratching an itch. The action creates a brief feeling of satisfaction. For some people, joint cracking becomes a habit because they enjoy that temporary sense of release. The good news is that enjoying an occasional crack doesn't automatically mean you're harming your joints. How to keep your joints healthy? Whether your joints crack or not, protecting them should be a priority. Healthy joints support every movement you make. Here are some simple habits that can help. Stay active. Movement keeps joints nourished and helps maintain flexibility. Walking, swimming, cycling, and strength training are excellent options. Maintain a healthy weight. Extra body weight places additional stress on weight-bearing joints like the knees and hips. Even modest weight loss can reduce joint strain. Strengthen supporting muscles. Strong muscles help stabilize joints and absorb forces during movement. Focus on balanced strength training. Improve flexibility. Gentle stretching may reduce stiffness and improve range of motion. Stay hydrated. Water supports overall tissue health throughout the body. Use good posture. Proper posture reduces unnecessary stress on the spine, neck, and shoulders. These habits matter far more for long-term joint health than occasional knuckle cracking. The bottom line: so, is joint cracking harmful? For most people, occasional painless joint cracking is completely normal and not a cause for concern. Current evidence does not show that knuckle cracking directly causes arthritis. However, if cracking is accompanied by pain, swelling, weakness, or limited movement, it's worth getting checked by a healthcare professional. The sound itself is usually less important than the symptoms that accompany it. Your body is incredibly complex, and sometimes a pop or crack is simply part of how healthy joints move. Instead of focusing on harmless noises, focus on keeping your joints strong, mobile, and healthy through regular exercise, good nutrition, and proper movement habits. Did this video change the way you think about joint cracking? If you learned something new, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with a friend who constantly cracks their knuckles. And we'd love to hear from you. What joint cracks the most in your body? Your fingers, knees, neck, or back? Leave your answer in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to Balanced Motion Health and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest science-backed health and wellness videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.